Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Manders Mindset. I'm your host, Amanda Busso, and I'm here today with Casey Sanginario. And I first met Casey back in, I believe it was 2018. I actually met her at Anytime Fitness. I'm not sure if she remembers the backstory of this, but she does. But she was there and she was showing the facials, which she has at Island Wellness. She is the owner of Island Wellness, which is a wellness studio in Rhode Island. I'll let her explain that a little further, but I tried that on my neck and I had instant relief. And she was also a sweetheart, really down to earth woman. And I've supported her small business ever since. And I'm here with Casey today.
Hi, good morning. I do remember that actually. I kind of forgot about it until you mentioned it, and I was like, oh my God, that is how we met.
Yep. Yep. And I was amazed at how that Cairo worked.
Yeah, it's really great. Island Wellness started because my husband got sciatica. This was about 6 years ago now, and we tried everything. Modern medicine wasn't really working for us, and he had VA health insurance. It just wasn't the right outlet for us. So we got into more holistic wellness, and we found cryotherapy. We found localized cryotherapy and cryofacials, and we kind of ran with it. We opened our first store in 2018, and now we have two locations, one in Middletown and one in Providence, Rhode Island. We offer everything from salt caves, sauna, cold plunge, crystal caves, cryotherapy, hydro massage, whatever you really need, we've probably got it for you.
Wow, I did not realize that's what started Island Wellness.
Yep, it was out of a personal need, honestly. My husband was very uncomfortable and we just couldn't find the right solutions. They wanted him to have back surgery and he was only 36 years old. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I don't think that's the right way to go. And that's how we kind of started.
Wow. Okay. So what was it that he first tried? I was like, how did you actually come to create Island Wellness? Just because he
Yeah.
needed.
So we were trying everything. He was getting massages, he was getting acupuncture, he was getting pretty much anything to relieve this sciatic nerve pain. It wasn't working that great, or it would work for a little while and then the next day it would come back. It just wasn't something that was like really a long-term relief. So we went online and he was doing a lot of research. My husband lived in California for quite a number of years and he knew about cryotherapy. So he did some research and he found a place in Fall River that was offering it. And we went over there and we tried it. And that's when he fell in love with it.
um, Okay. And how soon after him first trying this was it that you created Island Wellness?
Well, he tried it and then we went back a couple times and then we both worked full-time jobs at the time. And I had come home from work one day and he said, I want to show you a presentation. And I was like, what? And he then did a PowerPoint presentation about a small business that we could open called Newport Cryotherapy. So it was probably about like 2 months after we had found out about the therapies and we were really using them. And he was finding so much relief and he wanted to open a small store and bring one to Newport. And I was like, all right. And he pitched it as a really easy, hands-off business that we can just take care of on the weekends and it won't be a lot. And now 5 years later, we have Island Wellness and we have two stores and it is our whole life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's how it
Wow.
started.
Oh, wow. That is so crazy. And he had a presentation.
Yeah, like a real PowerPoint. He like opened it up and it was like a PowerPoint slideshow and he like walked me through it and he was like, I really think we should do this. And I have always been like an entrepreneur. I helped a lot of people start their businesses. I worked for software companies and liquor companies and I just really believe in self-made business. So I was all in. I was like, yeah, let's try it. And here we are.
I love that. So what were you guys doing before that?
I was a project manager for a software company for a long time. Before that, I worked for a web development company. I have a lot of tech background. My husband works full time for the Army. He actually still works his full time job for the government now.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then I left my full time job about 2 years ago to fully focus on the businesses.
Nice.
Yeah, but for the first 3 years of our business, we both worked full-time jobs on top of running our businesses.
Wow. Now, how was that?
It was a lot. We were cranky, and it was just a lot. But at the time, I mean, this is for anyone listening. Honestly, if you're starting a business and you don't have investors or you don't have funding, you have to do it that way. You have to work. The money has to come in. Businesses are extremely expensive, especially the industry we got into, and there's just really no other way to get around it. So it was what it was, and I'm happy. I don't mind. I've always been a hard worker. I don't mind the work. I'm not afraid of it. So yeah, we just got it done.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That's some awesome advice, though. Awesome advice.
Yeah, very expensive.
No, that makes sense. So now you also offer different type of events at Island Wellness. I've attended a lot of them. Can you touch a little bit on some of these different events that you offer there?
Yeah, so I have been a cannabis medical marijuana patient for eight or 9 years now. I recently did not renew my certification because everything is legal now, but I was a medical patient for a number of years. And I've always believed in the benefits of cannabis. And when I opened my shops, I decided that any event that I would host after hours, people would have the option if they would like to consume or not. I just believe that a lot of places are BYOB, a lot of places give access to alcohol, and this plant should be looked at the same way. So all of the events that I offer, we started allowing people to bring their own and consume inside, and it really took off. So we offer a number of different things at the center, from salt cave yoga to sound baths. We also have had psychics come in and do psychic readings. Then we also do once a month Silence Hippie events with my friend Sasha. So those events are a little bit more like hands-on and crafting. So we either make tie-dye or we make like different kinds of projects. We did our own self-care workshop where you made your own CBD bath soak. And I just like doing a lot of things in the community and bringing people together. And if they want to medicate in our spaces, they're more than welcome to.
I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's been a great joy. I'll be honest. It's really a highlight of my career.
Oh, I love that. I look forward to them every month for what it's worth.
Yeah, I love it. It's been great. We have a lot of consistent regulars like yourself, and people have really become friends over the years. And you make a whole new group of friends, and everyone sees each other once a month, and it's just been really special to share with other people.
No, I completely agree. I'm curious, just for my own personal knowledge, how did you come up with these events? What?
Um, before the events, my girlfriends and I used to come in here once a month. And we have girls' night, so it was like me and Sasha and Lala, and we would come in and we would just smoke a lot and chill and use all the services and take sauna, go in the salt cave. And finally, one night, Sasha was like, "You should really we should do this. Like, we should have other people come. Like, we should open this to the public." And I was like, "Oh." I never thought of that. I was like, let's try it. And that's how it all started. It wasn't even really my idea. It was my girlfriend's idea. And they were really supportive. And they're like, Keitha, you should do this to the public. And that's how it started.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
one of those things where I was really relaxing and I didn't think about it too much as a business opportunity. And my friends were like, what are you doing? And yeah, it's been great. I'm so glad that we have people like that who can be honest with us and say, hey, you should do that. And it's worked out so well. We've been doing private events here at the store now for, gosh, about 3 or 4 years that we've had people coming in, and it's been awesome.
Wow. I love that. And such a nonchalant comment that she made.
Yeah, it was just a really natural like segue. Like they were like, "Oh, you should do this to the public," and that's how they all started. And now we do bachelorettes, we do everything: birthday parties, anniversaries, get-togethers. We have a book club that comes and they use the space, and
A book
yeah,
club. I love that. That's
yeah, we have
adorable.
really great people.
Wow, I love that. Okay. Wow, that's so cool. Okay. So you mentioned that there's a salt cave at Island Wellness. Now I know you also just opened an Amethyst Cave at the other location as well. I'm curious where the idea for both of these came from. Like what made you think about these, the setup, how you went about the process?
Yeah, so the salt cave came first. We built the salt cave 4 years ago. When we moved to the first year we were open, we had a really small shop and we had the cryo sauna and one sauna. And we sold some CBD products. That was it. I didn't have any other machines. I didn't have anything else. We then moved to a larger space a year after a year of business. We moved to a larger space. And when we moved to that space, I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so much more room. And my husband and I started doing a lot of research about California spas and Florida spas and New York spas. And we watched a lot of other places. Unfortunately, New England is very behind on holistic wellness. And there's just so many other places in the country that this has already been a way of life for a long time. So we started doing a lot of research. We saw different therapies and we started slowly filling each room with different therapies. So we have the cold room that has all the cold therapies, we have saunas, and then we got to our big feature. And we need every store has a big feature. It's a draw that multiple people can enjoy at once. It's a relaxing feature. It's always something that's a unique, really an experience. It is a wellness treatment, but it's also an experience. So the first one that I wanted was a salt cave. I wanted it so bad, so bad. So my husband built me one in the Middletown shop, and we built it in the basement of the store. We then had our fire inspection, and unfortunately, there was only one exit. So we had to rip the salt cave out, and we had to build another one upstairs. So we've built two salt caves actually. So we built a second one upstairs, and I think the second one came out better anyway. It's just so beautiful. My husband builds all of the projects ourselves. There's really not a lot of build out. It's more decor. So he decorates all of the rooms. He paints. He makes sure that they have the true feel of it. So we did the salt cave first. Then last year we bought our property in Providence, and we decided that we wanted to have another cave feature. There was already a garage in the back of the property. So we decided, hey, that's going to be the feature. And we didn't want to do another salt cave, A, because we already have one, and B, because there are a couple other ones in the state right now. And I am a big fan of having unique things. I want to have something that no one else has, a draw or a feature where it's just custom and it's my own. So we started talking about crystal caves and different things, and we settled on an amethyst cave.
Mm, okay. Awesome. No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been the biggest project we've ever undertaken together. It took a year and a half to build, and it's been a very, very long road of decorating and getting all the rocks in, and it was a very, very long process. The biggest thing we've ever done as a business.
Wow. Okay. Now, what made you choose amethyst first, a different crystal? Was
Well,
there?
I love crystals in general. Jade is actually my favorite crystal, but amethyst has a lot of healing properties. It's a universal healing crystal. It's great for shedding negativity. It's great for getting kind of anxiety, and it's a very calming stone. Amethyst is a really powerful, powerful healing crystal. So we decided on that because we do want it to be an overall calming space for people to enjoy.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm a little curious. We talked a lot about Island Wellness, where you are now. Can we backtrack a little bit to your upbringing and how you got to right before Island Wellness? because you mentioned a little bit before I went on this.
Yeah. So that's a good story. You have some good questions. So I grew up in Cumberland, Rhode Island. I've lived in Rhode Island my whole life. I love Rhode Island. I love it so, so much. I'll be super honest. When I was young, I didn't. And now I am obsessed with it. I have no plans of moving. I love this state so, so much. So I went to URI after I graduated high school. And then after URI, I moved to Newport and I was a personal assistant for the owner of a liquor company. I did that for about 2 years where I ran his restaurant and I ran his liquor business with him. And then after that, another wealthy business owner in town who owned a web development company stole me from him. He approached me and he was a regular at the restaurant and he said, I love the way you work. You're such a hard worker. He's like, you're so organized. He's like, you should come work for me. He's like, I want you to be my assistant. And he offered me a lot more money. And I said, okay, let's do it. So I went and I started working for him. I slowly moved up in that company to be the head of sales. I did a lot of sales for websites. And then from there, I was actually let go. And I had never been fired before my whole life. I am an overachiever and I am very obsessed with my work. So it was a really difficult time for me. I didn't know what to do. I had never really faced like that kind of rejection before. I just was really like very lost. I'll be super honest. I was super lost. So I became a waitress and a bartender in town. And that was very unhealthy for me. I am a very social person, but when it comes to those types of atmospheres, I tend to I jumped in. I was drinking a lot. I was doing drugs. I was partying. I was wild. So I had to get out of there and I got another job at a software company and I started doing account management and project management at a software company. And I stayed with them for 5 years until I quit that and started Island Wellness with my husband. Well, we started it while I was there, but then I had left and started Island Wellness. So yeah, I don't have, a lot of people do ask me this too. Like I don't come from extremely holistic backgrounds. I never lived that life. So this was a whole new world to me. And it saved my life. It's been wonderful. It's been calming. I barely drink now. I don't use drugs. I mean, it's definitely been a real change for me. And people that have known me before were kind of like, what are you doing? And it's just, this is the life for me. This is way, way better.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't have like a hippie, crunchy granola background. I was actually like a wild person.
No, it's okay. I was just curious. Oh my gosh. How old were you when you were working at the restaurant and bartending?
I was
Oh,
about
wow.
like 22, 23. I started Island Wellness with my husband when I was 26.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm 33 now too, for anyone who cares.
I wasn't gonna ask, but okay. Okay. Now I'm curious. A lot of people have had what they call an aha moment or a turning point when they realize something different about themselves, about their life. Would you say you've had an aha moment?
I mean, I think I have them like every day. I don't know if I mean, I do. I've had a couple. I don't think there was ever like one moment in my life where I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Honestly, when really positive things happen in my life, usually they're followed by a lot of negative things. And I think it keeps me grounded. So when I achieve something or I finally succeed at something really big, I try not to celebrate it too much because I know that there's more hard work coming. So I haven't had too many aha moments. I guess the biggest aha moment for me was when I started doing marketing for cannabis companies and I found my true happy middle. Like I love doing marketing. I love my businesses and I've always loved cannabis. And when those two worlds collided and I had reached what I really, really love doing, that was probably like an aha moment for me. And that happened about a year ago.
Wow. Okay. Now, how did that happen for you?
So I actually met my best friend Lala, Weed Queen, on Instagram. I saw her Instagram page and I was like, wow, this girl smokes weed. She's like in Rhode Island. She seems so cool. Like I smoke a lot of weed. I'm like, I want to meet her. Like I was like, I'm like, for some reason, I just was like, I want to meet her. So I reached out to her on Instagram and I invited her to Island Wellness. And she came. She was like, I would love to check it out. And so she came, and that was it. We became best friends right away. I absolutely loved her. We spent like 3 hours here hanging out and talking. And then the next week, she brought her boyfriend back, Spencer, who owns Mammoth, which is a huge grow in Rhode Island, and we became friends with them right away. This was about 3 years ago, and it was wonderful. I had never made a friend off the internet before. It was like my first time, and I loved it. And they were just so kind to us, and we are still best friends with them to this day. We spend a lot of time with them. Lala is my best friend. I absolutely love her so much, and she was the one who actually said to me, "You need to become a cannabis influencer." And I was like, no, I just want to smoke and like be alone. And she was like, no, you need to do this. She was like, you have so much to share. She's like, you should do this. So then she introduced me to Sasha. And that's how I met Sasha. And I fell in love with Sasha right away too. And the three of us became very, very, very close right away. And Sasha said, you need to do this. And I was like, okay. So they had me get into this, and they taught me so much. They taught me about how to create. They taught me about brand work. They taught me everything. I owe my entire industry in that world to them. They brought me in. They taught me so much. And then from there, I started creating, and it was so nice to have people for once not frown on you for smoking. That was something that really wasn't a part of my life. And I couldn't believe there was this whole community of people who liked what I was doing, liked smoking, and it was really awesome. So I started doing that. I started High Priestess, and I became High Priestess RI and started marketing different cannabis companies and businesses and products. And from there, I approached other cultivators and asked them if they wanted help with their marketing. And it just kind of took off from there. So now I manage all of Hank's Herbs, Aquidneck Harvest Company, and Sea Witch Medicinals marketing and social media. And then I also have High Priestess as well still that I do marketing through. And I love it so much. I really do.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been really, really great. And I get to meet so many wonderful people who are so passionate about cannabis and helping others. And it's been such a treat.
Wow, and that's so beautiful. I love how that happened. So you didn't even really go out of your way to get it. Like
No,
you
I
became
didn't.
friends with her, and then you became friends with Sasha, and then they both suggested it to you, and it slowly fell into place perfectly for you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely really hard. Like social media is against cannabis. So there's a lot of guidelines. I had a page deleted. My first page that I made was deleted, and I had to start over. So there are definitely some hills to this. Like
Oh,
it
of
is
course,
a
of
roller
course.
coaster. But yeah, it did happen for me pretty organically, and it's been wonderful. I just love everyone that I get to work with, and the Rhode Island cannabis scene is wonderful. It's just full of so many good, hardworking people that really, really care, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
That's amazing. I love that. So now you mentioned a little bit about it's being nice to be involved with cannabis and it not being frowned upon. Have you experienced that a lot throughout your life?
Well, I was 14, and I was at a house party, and I was drinking, and I smoked, and I threw up on this person's lawn, and I was like, I'm never smoking weed again. I was like, I hate weed. And I was like very open about it. I was a snob. I was like, ew, weed's gross. And I was nasty. Then I got out of high school and I was 18 and I started smoking weed again with my friends. Like one of my best friends at the time was like, come on, let's just like try it. Like you'll love it. And he was right. I fucking loved it. I was like, this is great. I love it. And then I never stopped. So from 18 to 33, I have never stopped smoking weed. But I did grow up in a household where my mom was extremely strict. She's still really strict. I'm 33 and I'm still kind of scared. So I definitely had to hide that I was smoking. My mom would have killed me. Even now, she's not like, she's coming around. She's starting to understand, but it took her a really long time. It was something she absolutely frowned upon. And I really had to hide my consumption for the bigger part of my life.
Mm. Now, if you don't mind me asking, how does she feel about now you have Island Wellness and you host events that are 420 friendly?
So when it took a long time. She didn't really start coming around until it became legal. Then my mom's like a big rule follower, so like once it became legal, she was like, "Oh, well, the government says it's okay," and she kind of like changed her mind a little bit. And like now we've had a lot of talks where I just tell her like, "Mom, it's the same as alcohol." Like, and my mom likes to drink. She loves to drink beer, and she's definitely very fun. And I absolutely love my parents. And we had a lot of conversations with her about this is the same as alcohol. This is just a different form of people relaxing. And this is like someone going to an event and bringing a beer. It's the same as someone going to the event and bringing a joint. I said, it's really not. And she's really come around. She really has. She was really mad at me though when I had a cannabis wedding. She didn't love that.
She didn't. And now by cannabis wedding, what do you mean by a cannabis wedding?
So my husband and I were married in 2020 during COVID. My sister privately married us. It was absolutely perfect. I loved it. I wore green and I didn't wear shoes and I fucking loved it. We got married outside, and as soon as we got married, I started smoking. I lit up a joint, and then we had a lot of photos taken of us smoking and enjoying ourselves after. And then when we had our reception, we had a joint bar at our reception that said love is a joint effort, and there was a ton of joints and people could come up and get joints. And it's a part of my life, and I'm never going to hide it again. So any big moment in my life where I feel that I want weed there, it's going to be there. So she wasn't thrilled, but she didn't make too much of a fuss. Like she knew. She was like, I don't love it, but we also took non-smoking pictures, so she loves those. She's like, oh, I love those ones. So I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
I love that. My mom would be the same way. She would be the same way. How old is your mom, if you don't mind me asking?
My mom is 60.
Okay. My mom is as well. I think it's a little bit even the generation.
Yeah, it's just they were raised so long telling you like this is your brain on drugs and like this is bad and it's illegal, and it really is. They were brainwashed for a long time to believe these things. So it's not her fault. I mean, it really isn't. And I'm very proud of her for where she stands now, and she's so supportive, and it's really nice. They're actually coming to see the Amethyst Cave tomorrow, and like my parents are my biggest supporters. Yeah, we're very, very close, and I love my family very much.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's great. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. So
Yeah.
I do have one more question. So I wanted to approach podcasts in a way where it wasn't only questions from me. So I asked one of my best friends to come up with a question that I could ask each podcast guest. So her question is, what is the best decision you've made in your life up until now and why?
Oh God. Wow, that's a question. Um, the best decision that I have made in my life up until now was marrying my husband. It was the best choice, the best thing I've ever done. Without him, we are a team. We are a true team. He is my best friend. And without him, none of this would be possible. In everything, Island Wellness, High Priestess, he is my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter. I mean, he built me a crystal cave. I mean, the guy, he does everything, and he works so hard. He works a full-time job, and then he does everything for the business on top of that. And he still finds time to go on vacations with me, and we go on dates once a week. And Yeah, my husband is the best thing that's ever happened to me. My best decision.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm curious. I have a follow-up. Where did you guys meet? How'd you meet him?
So I did tell you guys that I was a partier. So I actually met my husband on a Saturday at a biker bar at 11 in the morning. And I was wasted. My girlfriends and I were there and we were having like a day. So we were drinking and we were out and about, and he was there hungover having breakfast. And we ran into him, and we had a mutual friend that knew him, and he invited us to his house party later that night, and we went, and that's how I met my husband.
Oh my gosh. How long ago was that?
Oh gosh, we've been together 8 years now. We've been married for 3 and we've been together for 8.
Wow, that's so funny. Okay, I actually do have one more question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good.
So, you've been super successful with Island Wellness and have achieved a lot. So, I'm curious for anybody listening, if you have any tips, any advice, suggestions for somebody looking to pursue a big passion or a big goal in their life.
Be consistent. Be consistent in anything you do, in anything. Be consistent. Show up, post, market, manage. You can't just do something for a little while and let it fall off and come back to it. I have been extremely consistent with this business for 5 years. I have never stopped. I have never given up. As much as it's been, I mean, we've been through a lot and things happen. You have to be consistent. And honestly, just make the best out of every situation. Try to be positive. Consistency, though, if you show up consistently every day as the same leader, you will get there, and you will succeed in what you want to do. But you can't do anything half-assed. You got to go full ass. Got to go the whole thing.
I love that. You got to go full ass. Love
Yeah,
that.
you can't. No, you can't half-ass it. Everything, especially if you have employees. If you have anything, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do anything without my employees. I absolutely adore them. We have such a great relationship and respect for each other, and I don't believe we would have that if I wasn't consistently showing up every day for them and showing up every day for this business. And it makes a big difference. You cannot just be someone on the sidelines. You have to be involved.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Now, I do have one question, and now I don't know if this is possible. It's totally okay if it's not. Are you able to show us the salt cave?
Oh no, so actually this business is closed on Tuesdays. So I'm the only one in here right now.
Okay, no worries. No worries. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me and sharing everything that you shared with us. Now, if listeners are interested in connecting with you, finding you online, connecting with Island Wellness, where can they do that?
So you can go to at Island Wellness Center. I also have High Priestess RI page, which is linked right from there. You can email us at info at the Island Wellness Center. Pretty much any of our sources or links, I get back to everything every day. So any kind of method of email, you can call the store. I'll call you back. Yeah, any way. I'm very, very reachable.
Okay, sounds good. I will leave all of that information in the show notes so you guys can find Casey. And thank you so much again, Casey, for being on Manders Mindset. And thank you all for taking the time to listen to another episode of Manders Mindset. Until next time, guys, as always, if you enjoyed the show, if you would like it, give me a 5-star rating and leave a review. I would appreciate that. It would help me get the podcast out to more people. Thanks, guys.